I didn't know what cancer was.
You can't imagine what happens to a person when you get such a diagnosis, and your whole world falls apart.
When you're a cancer patient and you've been given that diagnosis, your life is never the same.
That was the most horror of horror. Of any man could go through.
Why from a distance when I need you close? And why do you hide me Eitzaro? Lomo, Lomo. Why from a distance?
And she said to me, I have to tell you, this does not look good. This is very, very suspicious for cancer.
And we noticed swelling by his eye. We took him to this doctor, to that doctor, a pediatrician, ophthalmologist, until we ended up by a surgical ophthalmologist. And a couple of weeks later, she came back with the results that a 4-year-old had a orbital tumor.
And then last second, he said, you know what, let me check your chest. I want to take an x-ray on your chest. They found out that I have 2 different kind of cancer in my lymph node.
And why do you hide me Eitzaro? Lomo.
And the doctor walks in and very nonchalantly tells me he has a 5-centimeter mass on the brain, and they have to do surgery.
When I need you close, and why do you?
Generally, the protocol for such a thing is chemotherapy and radiation. I didn't know my options at the beginning, but then I found out from RCCS that there are options in radiation. There are different types of radiation.
The doctors, they were afraid to send him with an ambulance. The head in the emergency room ordered a medevac. When I asked the Bikur Cholim, I said, who's going to pay for this medevac? He said, don't worry about it.
From a distance, when I need you close, and why
The bills started coming in. At first I got the medevac bill of $18,000, and Oxford rejected the claim.
The first word you get out of the doctor, you have insurance. And he said, sorry, we don't take Medicaid.
So I didn't know what to do. I started making calls back and forth, and I was getting bills from doctors that I never heard of.
My oldest daughter told me, so Daddy, who's paying the bills?
a little bit of light, just a little bit of light. Doiche, harbe, choishe. A little bit of light, just a little bit of light. Doiche, harbe, choishe. Just a little bit of light, doiche, harbe, choishe. A little bit of light, just a little bit of light, doiche, harbe, choishe.
RCCS no longer provides only insurance subsidies. Today, RCCS provides a vast array of services for the cancer-stricken patient, including tuition scholarships, medical direction, the much-needed insurance advocacy, emotional support, social services, and more. Most exciting is our newest venture, RCCS Yerushalayim, in which, in its very early stages, has already been credited for saving many, many lives in Israel.
That's where RCCS really made the difference. We wouldn't have been able to go to Philadelphia if not for RCCS.
RCCS, I think, in a very embracing, warm, loving fashion, tries to say, we are here for you. We want to navigate these waters for you. We want to find a way to make the connection between your needs and the resources that we have to help you.
They were the ones who put us in touch with the right doctors in Eretz Yisrael. They set up an appointment for us to see him, on short notice. And in the end, he was the one who gave us a letter of recommendation to do the proton therapy. And that was what convinced the Israeli insurance to cover us.
For most of the cancer situation, the treatment here is at least as good as everywhere else. In extremely rare cases where a second opinion or an additional treatment is needed in the States, we would recommend it.
And in the end, that's what happened. They agreed to cover us for up to $350,000 treatment in CHOP.
Darkness go, no, darkness you don't chase away with a stick. No, 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 that won't.
I made a phone call, and the person said they'll send me an application and I shouldn't worry. And it took no time that they got back to me and told me we were approved and that I should just make copies of the file and give her the whole file. I remember telling my husband, I said, I can't believe what they're doing. I never dreamt that they would take over everything from A to Z.
They took over. They got me an insurance company. I went to the best doctor. More than that, to actually teach me how to talk to these doctors and how to be able to get a good treatment.
RCCS was a lifeline to us. Without RCCS, I would have lost my health insurance at a time when I needed it the most. It took so much pressure off of me so that I could focus on getting well and not on how to pay my insurance.
The organization provides all kinds of services for the patient, not only financial services for the patient, but RCCS also helps them get emotional support. The RCCS goes out and tries to find the best doctor for these patients, regardless of the patient's ability to pay, because they come in with the financial support that the patient needs.
And through the help of RCCS, my family, Rabbi, the prayers, I made it.
It's definitely a miracle organization, and they save lives. There's no two ways about it.
RCCS made the difference in our son's life, and such an investment is priceless.
There was more than a little bit of light, it was the entire sun.